Good afternoon, Sarah. How are you today?
Good afternoon, teacher. I'm doing well, thank you. I wanted to ask for some advice on how I can improve my English skills. I feel like I'm not making progress fast enough.
I'm glad you asked. Improving your English can take time, but with the right practice, you can make steady progress. Let's talk about some effective ways to practice. What are you currently doing to practice your English?
Well, I attend my English classes twice a week, and I do the homework assignments. I also try to read books in English, but sometimes it's difficult.
That's a good start. Attending classes and doing homework are important. Reading books is also a great way to practice, but I understand it can be challenging at first. Do you choose books that are too difficult, or do you try to read books for your level?
I think I sometimes pick books that are too difficult. I want to challenge myself, but I often don't understand many of the words.
It's great that you want to challenge yourself, but it's important to choose materials that match your current level. If the book is too hard, you might feel frustrated, and that could slow your progress. Try to find books that are slightly above your level, but not too difficult. You can gradually increase the difficulty as you improve.
That makes sense. I'll try to find easier books for now. What else can I do to practice English?
There are many ways to practice, and the best way is to use English in real-life situations as much as possible. One of the most effective ways is to practice speaking. Do you have opportunities to speak English outside of class?
Not really. Most of my friends speak my native language, so I don't get to practice speaking English that much.
I see. Speaking is one of the most important skills to practice. If you don't have many chances to speak English with friends, there are other ways to practice. For example, you could join a language exchange program where you speak English with native speakers, and they practice your native language. Have you heard of that?
Yes, I've heard of language exchanges, but I've never tried it. Do you think it would really help?
Yes, I think it could help a lot. In a language exchange, you get to practice speaking in a natural setting. It's not the same as doing grammar exercises or reading a textbook. You'll be using English to communicate, and that's a very important part of learning a language.
That sounds interesting. I'm a bit nervous about speaking English with native speakers, though. What if I make a lot of mistakes?
It's completely normal to feel nervous at first, but remember that making mistakes is part of the learning process. Everyone makes mistakes when they're learning a new language. The important thing is to keep speaking and practicing. The more you speak, the more confident you'll become. People will usually understand that you're learning, and they'll be patient.
That makes me feel a bit better. I guess I just need to practice more and not worry too much about mistakes.
Exactly. Don't be afraid of making mistakes. It's how you learn. Another way to practice speaking is to talk to yourself in English when you're at home. It might feel a bit strange at first, but it can really help you improve your fluency.
Talk to myself? How would that work?
It's simple. You can describe what you're doing as you go about your day. For example, if you're making breakfast, you can say, "I'm making breakfast now. I'm going to eat eggs and toast." Or, if you're walking to the store, you can say, "I'm walking to the store to buy some groceries." This helps you think in English and get used to using the language without pressure.
I never thought of that. I'll give it a try. It seems like a fun way to practice.
Yes, it's a great way to build your confidence. Another important skill to focus on is listening. How often do you listen to English outside of class?
Not very often. Sometimes I watch English movies or TV shows, but I usually use subtitles in my own language.
Watching movies and TV shows is a fantastic way to improve your listening skills, but I recommend switching to English subtitles, or even no subtitles if you can. This way, you'll train your ear to understand English better. Start with English subtitles, and once you feel more comfortable, try watching without any subtitles at all.
I'll try that. I think English subtitles would be helpful. What else can I do to improve my listening skills?
You can also listen to English podcasts or audiobooks. There are many podcasts designed for English learners, where the speakers talk more slowly and use simpler language. You can listen to these while you're doing other things, like walking or cleaning. It's a great way to surround yourself with English.
That sounds useful. I like listening to podcasts, so I'll look for some in English.
Good idea. Listening regularly will help you get used to the sounds and rhythm of English. Another thing you can do is repeat what you hear. If you hear a phrase or sentence in English, try saying it out loud. This will help you practice pronunciation and improve your speaking skills.
I think I can do that. It sounds like a good way to practice speaking, too.
Yes, it helps with both speaking and listening. Now, let's talk about writing. How often do you write in English?
Not very often. I only write when I have homework or exams.
Writing regularly can really help you improve your English. You don't have to write long essays. You can start by writing a daily journal in English. Write about your day, your thoughts, or anything that comes to mind. The goal is to practice expressing yourself in English, even if it's just a few sentences a day.
I've never tried writing a journal in English. It sounds like a good way to practice.
It is. Writing helps you organize your thoughts and improve your grammar and vocabulary. You can also try writing short emails or messages in English, even if they're just practice emails to yourself. The more you write, the better you'll get.
I'll try that. I think it will help me with my grammar, too.
Absolutely. Writing forces you to think about grammar and sentence structure, so it's a great way to reinforce what you've learned. And if you want to take it a step further, you can ask someone to read what you've written and give you feedback.
I could ask a friend or a classmate to check my writing, maybe?
That's a great idea. Getting feedback is really helpful because it shows you where you can improve. Finally, don't forget about vocabulary. How do you usually learn new words?
I try to memorize them from the textbook, but it's hard to remember so many words.
That's understandable. Instead of just memorizing lists of words, try to use new vocabulary in sentences. When you learn a new word, write a few sentences using that word. Also, try to use the word in your conversations or writing. The more you use it, the easier it will be to remember.
I'll try to use new words more often. I think it will help me remember them better.
Yes, it will. And don't forget to review words you've learned in the past. Sometimes we learn a word, but then forget it if we don't use it regularly. Keep a list of words you've learned and review them from time to time.
That's a good tip. I'll start keeping a vocabulary list.
That's great. So, to sum up, focus on reading, writing, listening, and speaking regularly. Don't worry too much about mistakes. Just keep practicing. The more you surround yourself with English, the faster you'll improve.
Thank you so much for your advice. I feel more confident now, and I'll definitely try these new ways of practicing.
You're very welcome, Sarah. I'm sure you'll see great improvement if you stay consistent. Just take it one step at a time and don't give up.
I won't. Thanks again, teacher.
Thank you for watching. If you think this video was helpful, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps us make more useful content for learning English.